Well, we reached a milestone here at 5,000 subs, and really, since I've been logged off to where I can't upload or anything, I've gone up to 511, and I think it's like 132 now or something over. So that's fantastic, guys. And I never expected this to actually get that big. I didn't want to, promote the site in any way and stuff. Most of this information that I put out, somebody has to be looking for it to want to even see it and stuff. And there have been a few videos that somehow get pulled into the mainstream and get 60, 70,000 views. But in general, I'm only getting in the 300 to 400 range, even though I have 5,000 subscribers. But that's neither here nor there. I know that most of you that get this actually don't even get my new video promotions that come out. I've had a lot of people that have missed videos and things like that and weren't getting notified in any way. That's something that I guess they'll work out one of these days. Anyhow, I just wanted to say that I appreciate it very much. And although I've been off for this last 4 months, we're going to start hitting it pretty hard here with the information like I did through the middle of last year. And which I actually put out almost 400 videos. I think it was 392, somewhere in that range. A couple of them really weren't that fantastic, and then of course there was a string of debunks and stuff that ran from even the year before that was added up to 58 now or something like that. I pretty much pegged everything that they had asked me to debunk on that, and a few over and above that. And then also, of course, just reveals where I showed the crystal blue-eyed statues of the Egyptians and stuff from the earliest of days. And so I've been piecing this together for y'all kind of in a weird haphazard way, it seems. But if you were to have been with me long enough to have realized this web that I have going on, quite often maybe a spider looks odd whenever it's going round and around. But in all, it ends up making a full web. And there are attachments that keep happening on this side of the web and on that side of the web, and I keep trying to reveal those to you somewhat. With all of the debunks last year and some of the new information that came out, I wasn't actually able to keep it strung together totally, and you saw that right here at the end with the videos where I did this Christmas unicorn one. And I don't know why, but now since the update, I can't see my little icons here for each one. You know, the preview picture, if you will, of each one. But I had the Etruscans also built up through that, and the Babylonian ones. And then I had a few debunks that I could put out during the time that I was on hiatus, but I felt that would just give me another strike, and I didn't want to give these guys any reason to try to do that. I had enough pokers in the fire already, if you will, right? So anyhow, the Etruscans ones, believe it or not, were from a long time ago, and there were 3 of them, and I lost one, and I had to redo it, and I think I described that in part 3. But that was supposed to go along with the Where Are We? If you remember that, where it shows you a statue that looks like it came out of Egypt in some form, and yet that was from the ancient Etruscans. And so I wanted to show some of the stuff about it, but I feel like that if I show constantly one people's information and stuff, that it kind of loses its flavor. And especially whenever I can start attaching them to other people and then say, well, this was going on at the same time, or I can preemptively go, this is where they came from, or I can show something new like genetics, where it shows that not only just the pottery matches, which they've for hundreds of years now debated on whether they traded with them or if they were some of the same people. And now we found that they are the same people in certain situations. In others, it seems like it was a mixing of the people, but they took over their pottery. Knowledge gets passed along through and so on. But I just wanted to touch upon this 5,000 video subs and tell you again that I appreciate it. Now, I've been off for 4 months now, and what they did to me, I would like to let y'all know here. Whenever we had that, you got to make your site child safety. So I already made mine child safety. In fact, some of the videos that had shown some, there was slight nudity and stuff of some primitive people and some other things that were on there, and any of those I had marked for gotta be an adult. It was one of the things they put in there, and so kids couldn't watch that anyhow. But then they put out the new thing, and I don't know if you have a site like this that you go to, but it had a little blue bar that kept coming across the top like, gotta read me, about we're gonna change here shortly, and you have to do this thing where you make them all child safe, and whether or not they are. And I just went in there and I said, none of my videos are child safe. Actually, the ones about corals and stuff like that could be. I'm just going to be safe about it. None are child safe. And I let it go, and then all of a sudden one day it popped and I was knocked off the web. Y'all remember that because you were like, hey, I tried to go find you and you weren't there. Well, what they had done is you had to agree to their terms of service and everything again, and then re-upload all your stuff. Well, you don't even have to upload it. You had to remake it open. And rather go through 1,300 to 1,500 videos, there was an option to let them all loose. So I let them all loose. And whenever I did, you could see that they were being analyzed somehow, because it was popping them up one by one, like looking at them now, telling you that it became online, and going down through them and stuff. And so I turned around while that was going on in the background and went in there and said, okay, what all is it opening up here? Because I have some of these videos I turned off. I have about, 12 videos in the last 2 years that I turned back off. I put them out to people, but I turned them off. And then there's all the old videos that I had that were on there too, that whenever we did the Radio 1 debunk, and he was like, you ain't been on, and I was like, what about these pages and these pages and these hundreds and these hundreds that have all been turned off long ago, because I decided to redo the entire situation, kind of a 2.0. But that's neither here nor there. For what happened was, videos that had already been totally allowed to go on my site, that's fine, it's been checked long ago, you have 300 and something video views on it, all these comments and everything else, and all of a sudden, boom, it's marked. And it got auto marked by their situation. And also I got flagged for music. And what was odd about that is it was music that I had already gotten on there that was their free music. There's a couple of the things where I just went into the free music and I chose Egyptians, and it's got don da don da do 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 don da do. That one that's real common on there, that was free. Oh well, it's not anymore. So now you've got a copyright strike. I'm like, well, how does that work? Because it was free, so that just doesn't make any sense. And I can't understand how everybody gets away with videos with music and stuff on there. And I even had the one of Elvis that I did a read of, where he's singing In the Ghetto and stuff, and there was a guy that did a reveal, right? And so not only is it just picturing a picture, but it's me picturing a picture of him picturing a picture of it, little bitty. So that's going to work, right? But no, that got flagged too. But they put warnings on a few of these and just said I had one strike and I can't do it for a month. And then within about 3 weeks, all of a sudden, I had 2 strikes. And I went in there and they had flagged about 15 of my videos after the fact. And I had already gone in there and turned back off all the old videos and stuff like that. And I had to do that individually with each one. And I'm flagged right now, and it was going to be 2 weeks. It even says on the thing still 2 weeks, so I was never supposed to be more than 2 weeks. But then the extra flags got on there, and they said, but 2 weeks became a month, And then now it's 3 months. And I'm like, what? Didn't you skip the whole... Anyhow, guys. So I was pretty much knocked off for 4 months, or right at it. I mean, you can see that the one about unicorns that I put out, about the unicorn of rebirth, and how whenever the story originally came in, he was heralding it and he wasn't on the way out. And it shows you how long ago it does. That was pretty much the last one. And I didn't get to do my year-end video that I always like to do, that kind of, you know, gives a summary of everything that I've done so far, but also coming into it, and I talk about that a little bit. But last year I did one where I'm going to go, okay, so now here we go to the next year, and I made another video about what we're about to see coming up, and things like that, and that you could put down in the comments things that you would like to see if there hasn't already been a video of it, or I may want to do a redo. Well, I wasn't able to do that one. I wasn't able to do my 5,000 subs. I wasn't able to do my Christmas video. And usually I do a series of debunks or something about the Bible or Christmas, or something telling you about the Star of Bethlehem, or how that all works out and how that story goes with things. And I give hints to how it attaches to the other things that I tell you about. And I wasn't able to pull those off either. So it's been a little bit of time here since I've been on with you. And I apologize for that, but it's not me, it's Big Brother watching you and saying whether or not I can or can't. And it seems like they've got it just so automated, it just tries to pick up on anything. So they've got all these things in line that can see the words on the TV and all kinds of stuff. And if they can word recognize it and they don't like that word, you're out. The names of the videos can trigger somebody off, and boom, you know, and so on. So it's gotten kind of disgusting that YouTube has turned it this way whenever, you know, we are a free speech society, but they try to call it hate speech. And it's not really hate speech, but it's odd that whenever this supposed hate speech is going on, that all these videos that I'm debunking are still on. So it's kind of weird how they kind of allow it for these guys, but oh no, white man bad. We've talked a little bit about that, but I don't like talking about close to now in history, because it starts getting too personal. And even things that are just a few hundred years ago, and we start talking about the founding of America or the Inquisition and the things that there. And it seems like whenever I start talking about those times and closer in through, it's everything after Christ pretty much starts to get an angst in me somewhat. And the closer we get and we hit certain points that I know were pivotal in humanity itself, I get angst about it. And as we get closer and closer, it becomes more and more personal. I think y'all probably realize that it does for yourself somewhat too. It's one reason I like to stay in older times, but I also am trying to figure how we all got here. And you can capture one moment in time, and everybody knows about this, and everybody knows about that. But how does that all fit together, and where does that come from? And what happened before that, and where are those people at? And so on. So I try to go through that series of it, and I know we've hopped around quite a bit, and I don't want to do something where, like, for the next month I'm going to take you from 8,000 to 7,000 BC or anything like that. That's a little too structured and probably not interesting enough to watch. Quite often you want to see something that's going to be interesting, and you can put things together, and you don't have to know when they change their shoes. But then again, when people changed shoes, it was pretty important whenever they went from sandals to shoes to boots and things along that line. And who were the people that had boots and pants, boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants? So we've looked at a lot of this information, and it's really I feel if you look at the last 2.5 years that I've put out here of 1,500 videos, the majority of that is going to show us information enough to get you on board. I realize that a lot of my people are into this, and so they probably know at least half of it or more. And that's fine. We have to talk about that. We can't, just leave it alone as a segment. You have to talk about how it all fits together, and you may be aware of da da da. But quite often in my videos, I say, well, you may be aware of da da da, but did you know? And this is what this means, and this is this, and here's the symbology, and this goes way back to so and so, and all da da da, and you just go on. Anyhow, so in this next year, and I'm going to do a year to date, and it's 4 months late. Recently had my birthday too, by the way, but I'm going to do a year to date and what's coming up somewhat in another video coming up soon, but I'm not going to put them back to back. I'd like to get on to some information. Whenever this had happened, I had about 5 videos ready to go and about 40 hours worth of video on the site already, and I couldn't upload and I couldn't edit in any way. And so that left me with like, man, because I've got places where I stop talking, I cough in this one part, I've got to edit that out, and so on. And I looked through them and I was like just pissed, And so I used this opportunity to do a lot of different things and take a bit of a break, if you will. But honestly, like my wife said, it was less than a week before I was constantly in research on something, and I pulled out another tablet. Here we go, having another, a whole tablet worth of information that I end up putting on, just pages and pages and pages going through, and concepts and ideas and things. And there's about 13 tablets that I have over here worth of information and things to talk about and moments and discussions, and we haven't even done one of them yet. And I started realizing that, and wow, there's a lot of information. And I started looking through this, and some of the stuff is minutia. Some of it is just extra things. It's not that important in the whole scheme of things. You could leave it out and never know it, and you'd still have a good idea of everything, but it's kind of neat too. So I want to try to bring those together, and I put symbols beside certain ones of them. There's a line, there's a circle, there's a star through a circle. So it's like this one's standalone, this one needs to be part of something, and so on. I started trying to go back page and page. Anyhow, you don't need to know all this. Another thing that I did, though, is I watched some people's videos that I had only done a few of. I mean, I saw it over in the sidebar, and I clicked on it, and he started talking about things, so I made a little video about it. Like Randall Carlson, who I thought 2.5 years ago was a guy that was talking about geothermal things and didn't really have all the other crap going on, because I had never witnessed it. Then I caught him doing that. I made a Halloween video that talks about the torrid meteor storm, and we are going to get into that again this year. But in a few different aspects, we're going to hit that thing from 3 or 4 videos here, probably in the next month and a half or so. But I found out that he has a sacred geometry site, and he's been into symbolism and all types of things. But his main key is this Younger Dryas event that we've talked about quite a bit, and we're going to get into new information about that and correlating other information about that, and show the reality of what that situation is, or at least where we have it figured to this point, or they have it figured to this point, what it goes with what I say and what I found out. But anyhow, it's been a long time, and I'm back. And we're about to get into another set and series of it. Like I say, I'll have an upcoming coming up, but I'm going to put out a couple of videos before then, because now I can get in there and edit. Although the old editor's gone and there's a new one, and it's about impossible for me to work with. You can't section it to exactly where somebody quit saying something to something. It basically takes about 3 seconds out of it, or 1 second, and you've got to make that fit right there, or it's going to come out and not be a good edit. So it's not real good. It's not like precision editing, that type of thing. Whereas before it was hard for me to do a precision editing. Now it's going to be almost impossible. So a lot of these are going to be free form and winged, and I hopefully I don't leave in things like me lighting a cigarette or me coughing or me taking a drink, but it'll be what it will be. I've changed my little setup here, and I'm in the big chair now, so this is going to be stories from the big chair that we're going through at least the first part of this year, and I think I might stay in the big chair right here. This is working pretty well for me. Anyhow, guys, I just want to touch base, but this is drawn out to a little long. I thought this would be about 10-15 minutes, and I do the others. But I just wanted to say that I appreciate it. 5,000 real subs, or 5,100 now, or more, and still gaining ground. And hopefully it'll even do more this year. Like I say, I don't want to be somebody with 1 million subs and all that crap and everything. I don't think what I do could ever get to that. People that make videos about kittens get a lot more views. That's kind of a sad state of the world, and I'll get into a few aspects of that in other videos too. But it's just what people are wanting to know, and other people are avoiding finding out what really a lot of us have an inkling that something's odd, something's off. What we're being shown, what's seen in front of me versus what goes on, is not quite the same. Again, in current times, it gets me a little frustrated and a little too personal. So I try to stay out of that a little bit, but I will hit on it a little bit here and talk about a few other things in some other videos. I just want to tell you I appreciate it. We've hit 5,000 subs, on our way to 6, and hopefully we'll be there very soon inside this year, and I'm going to start catching up on my videos real quick. So like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you get notified, and we should be doing pretty much at least 5 videos a week, if not 1 per day. Some will be multiples, as I put out a 3-part series, and they all come out back to back. That's how I was able to pull off over, near 400 videos last year. So be looking for them, because they'll be coming. I appreciate y'all, and congratulations. We'll see you soon. Peace.